What it mean to be the best? Riding foes, feeling unimpressed. Make me reminisce, throwing bows, bend the corner, set my mind up on the goal. All I know is stay down, bad, I'm the goal. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now ain't no debate. Yeah. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now ain't no debate. Yeah. I ain't gotta say much. Know the boy got a touch. Another win for the rush. Another win for the rush. See me once and got a crush. See you twice and that's enough. Get the ring sized up.
Another week, another win. It's a beautiful day in Chiefs Kingdom.
Hit that DG.
Every time. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs continue to win ball games, and honestly, at this point, it kind of just doesn't make sense. You could throw multiple interceptions. Noah Gray can lead you in receiving yards.
Ching ching.
Guys can fall down. Kareem Hunt can just continue to have 20-plus carries and have an efficient run game just for no reason. Well, shout out to Brock Purdy. I mean, he threw more interceptions than Patrick.
Glock Purdy.
Yeah, that was a water gun. That was one of them little pew pews. That's the Harlem Nights, John, man. That's pew pew. It's a pew pew.
Stop shooting that. Stop shooting that little.
Stop shooting that little. Stop shooting that little.
That little shit.
Stop shooting that little. Stop shooting that.
My brother.
He was so mad. Stop shooting that little more. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Hey, my boy was out there. Pow.
Pow.
Yeah, that was definitely perky.
Y'all gonna be, when I get memes and add them to this show, boy, I'm gonna start adding clips, boy.
Oh man. But yes, the Chiefs once again stay undefeated. The only undefeated team after the Minnesota Vikings lost to the Lions. And they have started off 6-0. I mean, it's kind of beyond description at this point. Andy Reid's bye week mastery continues. Just absolutely continue to put this team in a really good spot. It was uneven performance. It kind of felt like, the 49ers obviously it kind of came out, played pretty well to start out. We obviously keep the game close. It kind of felt, weird in the fact that our, first drive obviously came up, ended with that interception, man. Oh, we lost CJ there for a second. That's unfortunate. What happened? I was like, oh no, what happened? I was so confused. But yeah, I mean, you good?
I'm back.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of an uneven start. Obviously, Chiefs defense comes out, it gets the 3-and-out immediately, really just shut down the run. First play was a Felix Anduke-Uzomah tackle for loss, which we'll get into a little bit later on. And then you have the fake punt, which was the most obvious fake punt to ever fake punt, and you still decided to run it instead of putting your Hall of Fame quarterback on the field because that's what Andy Reid loves to do. And the Chiefs defense was like, nah, we got y'all. Interception right afterwards. And then Patrick Mahomes was like, sorry, I need y'all to do that again because it got tipped. Another interception. And so they gave it right back. And then Chiefs defense was like, fine, 3-and-out. We got y'all. And then the Chiefs were like, we'll just punt. And so it was really uneven to start out. Ultimately speaking, it ends up in a 28-18 victory for the San Francisco 49ers. Tip your cap to a lot of people on both sides of the ball. I think there's more to talk about as far as the defensive side because they just deserve their flowers. Let's talk about the offensive standouts. I'll let you guys get your first cracks at this, and I'm sure you guys will have somebody specifically. But who deserves to be mentioned here first and foremost as far as their offensive performance was concerned?
Noah Gray.
Did y'all? Hey, before the game started, would you please tell the team what we tweeted out, fellas? What we tell them to do?
Take the over on Noah Gray's yards.
Exhibit A, please. Thank you. I hope y'all been paying attention. By the way, make sure y'all tap in Bet the House Sportsbook. Me and DG got a lot of cash coming y'all way. We've been making a lot of people some money the first 6 weeks of the season. So we got a lot more money to make. We only a quarter away. So please don't be scared. Don't be obliged. But my prop 2 weeks in a row. Ching ching. Shout out Noah. King tight end number 2. This number's way too low. It's been disrespectful the last 2 weeks. Probably gonna go up. But until they keep doing it, fellas, I'm gonna keep taking it. So go ahead, DG.
Yeah, I would assume that number's probably gonna jump up to about 25-ish, 27-ish next week. But I probably would still take it. Yeah, ain't no problem. Ain't no thing. No thing. Well, yeah, I'm still gonna take it. Nah, man.
So yes, back to the offense and Noah Gray specifically.
Offensive stand, yeah. Noah, man, was incredible. I felt like this was finally one of the games where they actually kind of centered some of the game plan around him a little bit. Probably knowing that, going into the game with Juju being obviously dealing with the hamstring, kind of being down on your receiving core a little bit. I think that they figured to, try to get Noah involved a little bit more, and it showed. And he's, of course, been reliable as can be. I still don't think, knock on wood, that he's dropped a pass in his career. I haven't seen it yet. I know it's probably now that I said something, it's gonna
knock on wood, bro. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I did, but but nah, man. Shout out to Noah. I feel like he really he's a leading receiver for the team.
I've been telling everybody.
You kind of would have expected that to be, a Travis Kelce or maybe an Xavier Worthy. But yeah, for Noah to go out there and step up and make some really crucial plays, the catch on 3rd and 8, really big play, especially when Pat had to, basically make lemonade at that point, and just get busy. And Noah's right there being reliable, and that was not a great throw at all. At his knees, pretty much digging up out the ground and getting both hands underneath it and converting a barely big 3rd and 8, which we took it down the field and scored on that drive. So overall, man, I felt like he was great. Kareem Hunt, again, another week where he gets over 20 carries. We haven't seen that. Yeah, we haven't seen that in a while, and it's beautiful to see. Just because I think Kareem is getting Andy Reid to finally run the ball and stick with it.
Like
and it's
2017
working.
Again.
Yeah, it's definitely working. I think that they think Kareem can definitely handle the work that they're giving him at this point in time with Carson Steele and Samaje Perine being able to come in and give him some relief at points in times. So yeah, shout out to Kareem, man. I felt like he really kept us ahead of the sticks, kept us out of a lot of long, 3rd and long, 2nd and longs, stuff like that, and made us really efficient on 3rd down. I think we were 8 for 14 on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. So you ask people, how do you turn the ball over twice and still win games? You convert on 3rd downs.
Stay on the field.
And you stay on the field and keep moving the ball. So, all in all, those two guys, I feel like, really stepped up and made the plays when it was necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't too much to talk about from an offensive standpoint. Like DG just said, it was an ugly day in the office for the boys on the offensive side of the ball. But at the end of the day, they found a way to get points. And ironically, coming into this game, we were talking about our red zone efficiency and how we didn't want to finish the points with threes instead of finishing with touchdowns. Butker kicked 0 field goals yesterday. We love to see that, which means we were finishing drives with touchdowns, fellas. I know I hate to see turnovers, and I know Pat hates to look at the stat sheet and see the numbers in that interception column. But Butker did have 0 field goal attempts. He went 4 for 4 on extra points. We love to see that, which means we're finishing drives with 6 instead of 3. And like we said, Noah Gray was one of my favorite plays coming to the game. He balled out 4 for 66. Another great day for Kareem Hunt. I've cashed his rush attempts like the last 3 weeks. I don't know why they keep disrespecting his line. It's always at like 13 or 14 and a half. And he didn't got 20 plus carries the last 2 weeks. So if they just going to keep doing it.
I think that's due to the style of Andy Reid these last couple.
They don't believe it. They don't believe him.
Yeah, they don't believe
we're gonna run the ball. Hey, I'm gonna keep betting it every week because, like you said, as far as the rush attempts go, like spreading the wealth, Kareem got 22. Pat took off for 5 of his own on some of the scrambles. Miko had a couple on his jet sweeps. Carson Steele had 6, and Samaje had 2. So 22 carries for Kareem means he's definition of workhorse, like me and DG just stated. So he's going to be the feature back of the offense. Him and Noah were really the two standouts. Everybody else kind of just did their job. Really, like no other crazy performances, some timely plays with some other guys, and Miko definitely had some impact plays in the special teams game along with on offense. But overall, the offense was carried by Kareem Hunt all game. Even when we turned the ball over, he still would come back and get first down. So
Santa Clara hate to see McCole Hardman coming.
boy, when he see Cali,
Levi Stadium don't like Santa like McCole.
going back to Cali.
He love the Bay Area.
When Miko and Cali
playing against the Niners.
He be acting so different versus the 49ers. I don't know what it is. He just
see
activates to a different level. It's crazy how well he plays. He just plays under control.
I know that,
and it just comes into play of which Andy Reid knows how to use him. But I mean, I've seen the juice that I saw from him on punt returns was something I hadn't seen from him in years. Out of nowhere.
Forget the juice. You see how smart he was? He was fair catching, knowing when to get rid of the ball.
Exactly. I was like, that makes sense. I was like, what is happening? Who is this man?
Who is this man? I don't recognize him.
I know they ain't the Niners.
I know that ain't Miko.
I know that ain't the Niners I see on the schedule. I know it ain't them.
If that's the case, put the Niners on the schedule every year from now on.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you,
play them every year.
He love turning up again.
When he see them, boy, he be like,
so brand new.
ATD from Miko was easy cash. Boy, I'm like, boy, he scored literally so he touched the ball. I'm like, he about to score. Like, every time he touched the ball, I'm like,
I thought the punt return he was I thought he was
crib that.
Yeah,
I was crib that bit. Yeah, I was crib that bit. But no, overall, man, I love everything they did with Miko. Everything we expected them to do on offense. We said our keys to the game were what fellas running the football. We did that at a high level, staying ahead of the sticks. Outside of the turnover from Pat, the offense really did everything they wanted to do, given the circumstances. Juju going down early, which a lot of us thought he wouldn't even play. So I was surprised he even suited up because like they said your hammy was bothering you. I wouldn't even have put him out there in the first place because he's obviously an older player, fragile, even though we're saying that at 28. But overall, we expected him to do everything they needed to do. Use the tight ends heavy, run the football, stay efficient, and let our defense go out there and win the game for us. And that's exactly what happened. So just got to clean up the mistakes with the picks. And one was Zay falling down. I'll give him some flack for that. It's just a little miscommunication. But the first one, definitely got to get a better timing and connection with our receivers, and that'll come sooner than later for sure. But overall, offense did what they were supposed to do, which is run the football and be physical against a team that's known for being physical as well.
Yeah, the only other shout out I'll say, and this kind of goes for the entirety of the offensive line, but specifically I thought Jawan Taylor, a clean game in general, which is always great to see. But I thought he was really good anytime he's matched up with. And look, Floyd and Bosa are two really good edge rushers. Bosa, obviously, we know is special, and he had plenty of time against Wanya Morris over there on the left side. But I thought that whatever it was, either was Floyd or Bosa, Jawan Taylor did a really good job versus those guys, and that's not an easy matchup from that standpoint. So continued high-level play from Jawan Taylor, exactly what you need. I feel like he deserves a shout-out. Before we go to the other side of the ball as well, but you guys hit on it, man. The run game was consistent. Obviously, Noah Gray was able to step up. You don't love the continued turnovers and the lack of wide receiver ability, but when you lose Juju, you don't have Hollywood or Rashee Rice. You make do with what you can do, and this team ultimately did have those scoring drives. Did not have to settle for field goals. We're able to get 4 touchdowns on the board, and that's why you scored 28 points and you get out of there with a win, and that's all that matters at this point in the season, certainly from that standpoint. So, moving on to the Chiefs' defensive side of the ball, and I'll first just start out. There are a lot of people that played extremely well. Chiefs' run defense continued their streak of being absolutely shut down. And that involves a lot of different pieces. But specifically, I'd like to say Felix Anudike-Uzomah was able to come out, play extremely strong versus the run, specifically taking over for what Mike Dana was, obviously out for this game and what that meant that he had to be asked to do. It wasn't an amazing pass rush day by any means as far as that's concerned. But I thought that Felix equipped himself well. Continued his upward trajectory, even if it's not necessarily as high or as quick as we, may want it to be from that standpoint. But I thought that he did a very good job. And I was encouraged by his play ultimately to, at the very least, be a rotational player that can help out, throughout the season in general, but specifically throughout his career as well. So I think he had maybe I think it was only one pressure ultimately. His time to pressure was under 2.5 seconds, so that was nice to see. But outside of that, 17 pass rush snaps. It is what it is. It wasn't a major impact, but I thought as far as being a starting defensive end in this system, he did a good job and did enough for us to get the job done. And so that I think does deserve a shout out for a guy that obviously has continued to be maligned in some respects as well. So I'll kick it to you guys. Who do you guys think is the Chiefs defense standout that deserves to be highlighted?
Ooh, I know one for me was George Karlaftis had a day.
Fact.
He was relentless, especially getting after Brock Purdy, applying a lot of pressure. One of the main reasons Jaden Hicks even had that interception in the red zones because Karlaftis had a great. I wish you could pull it up with the spin move that he put on. I forget what their tackle's name is.
McGlinchey, whatever his name is.
McGlinchey.
I think that's how you say his name.
The tackle, yeah.
I probably butchered it.
Well, isn't he?
I thought he was
he's on the Broncos now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They got. I think they
So,
got. Is it
Starts with
McKivitz?
an M. I butchered. They told me, yeah, McKivitz. It starts with an M.
McKivitz, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I think
it starts with an M.
McKivitz
My
is,
bad.
is
My
his
bad.
name. Yeah. No.
But yeah.
Look, they're both not good. So,
Bruh,
yeah,
he had a nasty spin move that he put on him, and it was able to kind of pressure Purdy into having to kind of step up and deliver the ball probably before he really wanted to, which then proceeded to go into Jaden Hicks' hands. So yeah, George Karlaftis just every day, man, comes in, does his job, helps on the run game, with the edge, setting the edge. I think he also forced the other kind of the interception earlier to Justin Reed. I think he got his hands on that one as well too, which was really a credible play because he's literally out there by himself with Purdy in open space. So for him to be able to make that play too and get us another turnover, yeah, he was just on another planet against them. I would say overall the defensive line was once again incredible, especially as a unit. You can clearly see there's not a lot of egos within that line. It's just about coming in and doing your job, playing for the guy next to you, and just doing what the scheme actually calls you to do. And they continue to do it week in and week out, especially against the run. They've been phenomenal. Against
After what I saw last night from Baltimore, the Chiefs got the best run defense in the league. No bias at all, bro.
Yeah. I think they probably gave maybe one explosive run to Jordan Mason.
That's about it.
Which you kind of expect when they've been so good that you tend to give up some plays here and there every once in a while.
That was really all they could do, and right down to this point, the Chiefs' opponents in games that they aren't playing the Chiefs are averaging 141 yards per game. In games in which they play the Chiefs are averaging 90 yards a game. That's the difference as far as their rush defense is concerned. They are absolutely making teams play with one hand behind the back. It's spectacular to this point. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, I think that they, you can obviously see they came in and made this a philosophy. This is something I think that was on their checklist this year to be a better run defense.
Fact.
Not saying that they were bad last year or anything like that, but they were probably middle of the pack last year or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they want to be the best run defense.
They took that
in the league. Yeah, they definitely have taken that personal, and that to me is what's gonna propel you, especially when when we start getting to December and late in the year, and teams tend to run the ball a little bit more when you have to see a Derrick Henry again or face a Josh Allen or things of that nature. Playing gap discipline football and being tough in the trenches really helps propel you past a lot of these teams. So, shout out to the defensive line, man, Turk Warden, FAU, man. FAU was incredible again in Mike Danner's absence. and just all those guys doing their job. Mike Pennell continues to be a monster in there. Derek Nandi, I think, is having arguably one of the better years of his career up until this point. And they're allowing those linebackers to kind of just do their job behind them and flow freely and come down and play downhill. So it's been incredible to watch. So yeah, that would be my standout. The whole defensive line.
I know we've been saying his
Um,
name a lot, and it's kind of getting old, but bro, Leo Chenal is so good, bro. Like, I don't think there's
Very.
nothing he doesn't do for this defense. He's covering backs and tight ends out of the backfield. He's making tackles on the line of scrimmage. He's playing 5 tech, 3 tech. He plays off the ball if you want him to blitz. Leo Chenal, outside of Jamari Connor, he's probably the most versatile defensive player we have. Like, they literally ask him to do 3 or 4 different roles every week, and he does them all to the most perfect key you can ask for from a defensive coordinator standpoint. Like, if I'm Spags, like him and Jamari Connor, behind Chris Jones, are probably the two most important players to this defense. Like Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, and then obviously like those two guys. Like they just do everything for us. If you're asking guys to cover out of the backfield, you're asking them to blitz, play on the left side, play on the back side. I've seen Leo Chenal he obviously had a TFL. He had 4 tackles, 4 totals, obviously with a TFL. He had a pass deflection as well. Down the field, running with Kyle Juszczyk, trying to get the ball out of his hands and rake that out beautifully. Cutting guys on the backside when they're trying to run zone away from him. And then, the cutback lane is coming. He's right there to hit the back in the backfield. Obviously, he's playing strong side, forcing the tight end to turn his hips and forcing running backs to cut it up to where his help is on defense. Leo Chenal has been an amazing, outstanding player for us this year. Most improved player on this team right now would probably be Leo Chenal for me by far. Like he's taking leaps and bound jumps that we wanted to see from a second-year player. He's playing like one of the better linebackers in football, and it's just because he's doing so many different things for me. And we preach versatility, right, for this roster and for his organization. He's done everything to the T. Anything you can ask from a linebacker, from a defensive player, period, he's doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get a little tricks and do stuff with him on offense when we get down to the goal line, like Andy likes to do. But from a defensive standpoint, Leo Chenal has done everything flawlessly from a linebacker standpoint. He's the definition of a football player. And it's ironic that he went to Wisconsin because they're almost like linebacker U. If you get a linebacker from Wisconsin, they're probably going to be damn good in the league. But Leo Chenal is easily my defensive standout on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all, and I'm trying to see. Hopefully, I can find that specific play because and you're the way you described it, absolutely spot on. His versatility, what he brings to the table, the ability to play off the edge and stop the run, and then also play really good defense, and beast out and blitz, like all of the things that he brings to the table is incredibly unique. But this was the play here. And this talks to specifically the evolution of Leo Chenal that I think is worth highlighting. And like this is what the Niners like to do. They come out here. They've got
My bad.
Ayuk. Huh? Oh, sorry.
No,
They come out here. They've got Ayuk and Debo on the field. There's that Cowling. No, that's Debo. That's number one. Jordan Mason and obviously Kittle and Juszczyk out here, or I think it's just Juszczyk here, but and they try to get him leaking out. Oh wait, this is the other one. My bad. I was like, this is not the one that I'm trying to show real quick.
Next
Hold
one.
on. Let me make sure I grab the right one this time. Hopefully, there we go. This should be the one that I'm looking for. There we go.
There we go.
I was gonna say that was way too early in the game, or for this to be the one that we have. But this is again when they're trying to get the run game working. They got Kittle, Juszczyk, and Mason out there. They play action, have Juszczyk wheel out after the play fake, and Purdy puts a really good ball, back shoulders him, and Leo Chenal sticks with it and is able to make that PBU. And that's the evolution of him. Even as he's going to kind of get sunk in here for the actual play fake, he still understands and recognizes that Juszczyk is leaking out and runs with him afterwards. And because he is this good of an athlete, he catches up with him and plays the ball perfectly when it comes to the catch point as well. And I want to see if I can pause it at that specific moment because he puts his hand up at the perfect time right there, to make sure that he catches him as the ball is coming in. So shout out to Leo Chenal, continue to evolution as a player, getting better and better. And a part of this linebacker core that, again, the same way that we said that there's no 4 better linebacker core last year, there's no 3 better linebacker core than this one. There just isn't. Nick Bolton is playing middle linebacker at extremely high level. Drew Tranquil, even though it's not been as good as last year, still playing at a solid level. And Leo Chenal continues to take what is a Sam role and expand it and make it incredibly impactful on top of it. So shout out to Leo Chanel. He certainly deserves his flowers as well. And the other thing that I was going to highlight, because you obviously talked about the George Karlaftis as well. This is, or again, that third drive of the game or second drive of the game, and Karlaftis is not fooled by the play fake, and he gets that pressure on Brock Purdy, and Purdy throws the ball late, and Justin Reed's able to make that play. And then again, you talk about exactly what happened down on the goal line, in which Jaden Hicks was able to get that interception. Shout out to Jaden Hicks, the first of his career. But watch just that George Karlaftis working on that right tackle, goes up the arc and threatens it perfectly. Stabs, is able to spin inside and get.
I can't wait. Wait till we add a Minihue. Wait, bro. Wait when Charles Omenihu gets added back to this rotation of defensive line. I really think our sack numbers are gonna go up. Especially when Spags can get real funky with those fronts up front. I think that he's gonna come with some stuff that we haven't seen, and it's gonna free up some guys. But George Karlaftis on this play, man, it is really shows his maturity of the plethora of moves. He didn't have this move coming out of college.
No, he didn't. He
You
did
know,
not. Nope.
so for him to develop this over the years, it just shows that whoever he's working, which I still believe is Tamba, is listening and really improving on his game week in and week out. Of course, when you do things like this, you force errant throws and
George
ends up in Jaden Hicks' hands. And shout out to the rookie, man, for getting his first career
Jay
interception.
Hicks,
And there's
man.
absolute Jaden
You know?
Hicks, Mr. 21 out there. And absolutely, the one thing I do want to point out here, Charles Omenihu coming back is going to be huge for this defensive line. But in the meantime, this is the emphasis of what you need to have. You need to have guys win on the one. Tershawn Warren has done it pretty much for the entirety of the year at a pretty high level. But Felix is lined up over the nose, which is kind of crazy in and of itself. But George Karlaftis wins a one-on-one here to force a turnover. That is massive because Chris Jones is getting that attention on the right side of the line. If you are forcing two guys to Chris Jones every single time and you create these one-on-ones, somebody's got to win them. George Karlaftis wins it here. We've seen Tershawn Wharton do it. If Felix could do it, and obviously when Charles Omenihu comes back, he will do it at a high level as well. So that's really the key about it is, and these are the types of things that can lead to having the quarterback make errant throws, and your DBs have to be opportunistic at being able to take advantage of it. We saw Jaden Hicks get his first one. We saw Chris Roland Wallace, number 30, who also deserves a shout out because he's going to be a more important player moving forward as well, get his first one. He was a camp standout. And of course, we saw Justin Reed with that early one as well to stop the Niners' second drive of the game. So all that being said, it is time to turn the page a little bit. Unfortunately, we did get the news that Jalen Watson during this game did have an ankle fracture that will require him to be out for a significant portion of time. They did place him on IR. They signed Keith Taylor to the active roster as well. It seems like an injury that obviously, ligament-wise, rehab-wise, is going to be up in the air, whether it's a late postseason return for him or it's just going to be the end of the season. Unfortunately, because Jalen Watson was playing at such an extremely high level. And so two things I do want to highlight, again, how high of a level he had been playing at, and now what that means for the rest of the roster. More Najee Johnson responsibilities, more Joshua Williams responsibilities, and more Chris Roland Wallace responsibilities as well. So how do you guys feel about that role being filled in? And obviously talk a little bit about what Jalen Watson had brought to the table beforehand as well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to end up being a mixture of those guys, kind of rotating for that role until Spaz can kind of figure out who exactly is the perfect or not the perfect, but a good fit to put on that other side. I think right now Najee Johnson is probably the leading guy. He's been getting the most snaps, a lot more snaps over Josh Williams, especially early on in the year. I would expect Josh Williams to also get a little bit of run, especially as we go later on here into the season. Still being able to use his size, he's a lot bigger corner. So some of those matchups where they get against some bigger receivers, I could see him being able to step in and help out with that. I really think that this injury puts more of a significance on the role of Shamari Connor to this point.
Safeties for sure.
Yeah, I think it also it makes them probably have to feel like they have to grow up Jaden Hicks a little bit more faster than they thought at this point. Because now I think you're gonna have to have a mixture of Shamari, Nazi, and Trent, especially in on some crucial downs. We all know that Shamari's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of that secondary, so he can kind of come down and play that nickel role at points and times when they need him to. So I think that's kind of what the what how they're probably going to go about it. It just puts a lot of pressure on certain other guys at this point now to really step up and do their job. Trent McDuffie still to continue to do what he's doing up until this point, be the best corner on this team. But it does put a lot more pressure on him as well now to kind of have that role of going out there and taking away whoever that team opposing team is number one guy away from them. So yeah, man, but I still think the Spags can be able to do what he needs to do. As long as that defensive line continues to play how they're playing, they get Omenihu back and be able to apply pressure. If you can put pressure on the QB, it can help you out your secondary a lot more. So,
A lot more.
We'll just see what happens. But I don't think that this is something that's gonna hinder the defense too much. You may tend to give up some plays here and there just because guys aren't on the same kind of level that aren't playing at the same kind of level that Jalen Watson was playing at. So it may look a little rough at points and times, but I still think that they can go out there and produce and be able to get off the field.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you hate to see JY go down. Um, it's definitely he's definitely playing like a CB2 for us, big player, time player for us all year. Solidified his role as CB2, even though we had questions coming into the season who would be the guy. He significantly took that role over by far and showed why he's the second best corner of the team. There's really been no major drop off in his secondary since Snead left. We haven't had a receiver go over 70 yards outside of Shaheed with his big touchdown throw versus the Saints. But I think as far as wide receiver ones, the only receiver to really have a big day on us was Drake London for Atlanta. So we've held a lot of receivers in check, whether it be Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, like we just stated, or Brandon Ayuk, who unfortunately left the game with injury. But not too many receivers have had good days on this defense before he went down. So Jay Watt definitely going to be missed. His presence was felt all year. Obviously, it's going to be a big opportunity for Josh Williams to step up. Similar body frame, similar body type. Obviously, I think Jalen Watson's ball skills and probably his little nuance and feel of the game and staying in phase. And when I mean staying in phase, meaning being hip to hip with the receiver, I think Jay Watt's better at this point in his career of that. But I think this is Josh Williams' opportunity to prove himself. Like DG just stated, when your back is against the wall and this group has to be better, there's nobody I trust more with getting DBs ready, prepared mentally and physically to go than Coach Merritt and Coach Spags. But this is going to be a good chance for Josh Williams to grow as a player and as a man, to show everyone how prepared he is for this moment. And thankfully, from a football standpoint, we don't see the best receiving cores in the next couple of weeks. We play the Raiders next week. Obviously, Devontae Adams is no longer there. We faced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after that. Unfortunately,
Without Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
Yeah, both those guys went down last night. So it's a lot of talent that we thought we were going to have to see from a DB standpoint that we don't have to see no more going for the next couple of weeks. So that is the bright side of this situation, that while guys are getting healthy, we can not have the biggest challenges we thought we would see on the offensive side of the ball going against our defense. So definitely an opportunity for growth for time to get better. But these next 2 weeks, I expect us to dominate, continue to rush up front, and give our DBs less time to cover so they can get out there and get their hand on the ball and keep getting turnovers. I love to see we're getting picks, because that was the biggest cry or biggest issue with this defense last year, is actually catching interceptions. We would get turnovers, whether it be, we would get punch outs, and Trent had I think 5 strips last year. We were getting the ball, but we just weren't catching the ball from the team. So seeing interceptions come our way and rookies like D-Mac and DG stated, to see that happen as well, we love that moment. That's only going to help them be more confident and get their growth as well. So, we just got to get ready to continue for this long run. It's a long journey, man. We're trying to make history. So it's going to be a long season. We knew it was coming. I hate to see injuries happen, but we said it all summer. The only thing that will stop this team is health. And this is the thing that we prepared for. That's why training camps are so strenuous and so tough for Andy Reid's teams, because you have to be prepared for these moments. It's like what I said all summer, fellas. DBs, you're all going to play. I hate to see guys go down with injuries. We all knew eventually everybody's number is going to be called. And what do you do when your opportunity shows up? Show you how you are, your true character as a man and as a player, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing it comes down to is you got to trust in what the DB room is looking like. I said this, when we were coming at training camp, and one of the question marks was going to be what the cornerback two room was going to look like. And Jalen Watson had played a whole lot of snaps in that third preseason game, and people had a lot of question marks because he had given up plays, but it was by design because he needed to get back into shape. And the reality situation is, like you said, he ran with the job, and because he played at such a high level, and now it's time for somebody else to step up. This is the reality of Dave Merritt being here as the DB coach. He continues to get high level play from whoever is stepping in from that standpoint. And the development that we've seen in the past from Joshua Williams makes me comfortable in the fact that you don't have to go out and get a guy. Like we've seen solid play from Keith Taylor in the preseason as well. Chris
Yeah.
Roland Wallace, I thought he equipped himself very well in the slot from that aspect, especially because we had to bring him in the ways in which the Niners were trying to attack the slot that Shamari Connor maybe wasn't as well equipped to be able to handle with wide receivers. And, Najee Johnson's given us good play to start this year as well. So all three of those guys are going to be asked to step into more important roles. But I trust Dave Mann and Steve Spagnuolo to do the things necessary to put them in the right positions to succeed ultimately. And that's why it's unfortunate that this is what's happened to Watson. I pray that he's back by the playoffs, or even if it's deeper in the playoffs, because I still think he's an impact player. The way that he's played to this point in the season, we'll just have to cross our fingers as far as that's concerned. But no, I would not be going out and going to cornerback. That's just not where I think they should put the assets. We'll talk about the wide receiver position a little bit in a second here as well. But yeah, I just trust this DB room to do what's necessary to
Same.
continue to stop teams, honestly. And you obviously spoke about the schedule, like you said. Raiders, I mean, Jacoby Myers been in and out of lineup, and we know they've lost Adams at this point. Buccaneers, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. Broncos, Troy Franklin is showing to be, a little bit more of a player than he had to start out the season, but still not a good wide receiver room over there. Those are three passing attacks that are going to struggle. I know the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, have been playing really well, but Baker, when those guys are out of the lineup, has not been the same. Now that they're not going to be there, those are three passing games that can be taken advantage of, which is important because looming after that is going to be a trip to
Buffalo.
what's the name? What park is it? What park is
Orchard.
it?
Orchard Park.
Orchard Park. Yeah, I almost called him Florham Park. I don't know why. But yeah, we headed up to Orchard Park to play the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, obviously with Amari Cooper, who will have a month under his belt there. Khalil Shakir, they have weapons out there to take advantage of it. So get your mind right over these next 3 weeks. Understand how you want to get this rotation done. Get some confidence in versus some lesser opponents, and you have to prepare for what will be an extreme challenge up there in Buffalo 4 weeks out. In more pressing news, I should say, the wide receiver situation continues to not go great. Juju got hurt, which nobody could have ever seen coming that Juju would have got hurt, but he got hurt. He tried to go with that hamstring, and obviously it either tweaked it or some type of sprain. Regardless of what happened, Andy Reid immediately ruled him out for this next week's game. So obviously this is something that you're looking at. This is going to be some type of extended absence. I would not be surprised if he does miss the Buccaneers game as well. And they see it because the hamstrings are just finicky. It's difficult to come back from. And you want to make sure he's, as 100% right as possible, given how important he now is to the team. Certainly will be for the stretch run. But what that leaves you is a wide receiver group that is Xavier Worthy, who a lot of him and hawing about, the press, which, again, I don't think is as major of an issue as people continue to say it, because Andy Reid's going to put him in good positions. People that say that he's not producing as much, to me, that doesn't take into account Mahomes just overthrew him down the field. He continues to create so much space for us. Interference calls that are made or aren't made, et cetera, those things aren't factored in some of those metrics, but that's a little bit of a deeper conversation we can get into. Obviously, Justin Watson left over, and Sky Moore. And Mecole Hardman, who we're not going to play the Niners the rest of the regular season, but deserves to be mentioned at least. So that's the reality of the situation. You've got Montrell Washington, Nico Remigio, Justin Ross, and Cornell Powell on the practice squad. Cornell Powell just got added back this week. We'll see if any of those guys gets upgraded, but it's going to be a lot of tight ends for right now. All that being said, of course, there is the question mark about trading for a wide receiver. Today we had the rumors specifically come out about the Rams wanting to possibly move Cooper Kupp for a second-round pick and eating his salary. that is far too rich as far as I'm concerned, but that's a different conversation as well. And now it's a huge question mark about where this team can go. Personally, I've been, very bullish about they should go out and get Deontay Johnson. I think it makes a lot of sense for the immediacy of what this team needs and continuing to get open, can beat man coverage on a consistent basis, and also makes sense if you could sign him to a 2 to 3 year extension as well, because he is the age in which he can be a productive receiver from that standpoint. And no, people are going to have questions about the injuries, but that to me is a lesser concern than certainly a Cooper Cup would be as well, especially given the amount of money that you would have to put into Cooper Cup from that aspect moving forward in 2025 and 26. So all that considered, what do you guys think about the wide receiver trade rumors? Obviously, new things about Cooper Cup, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins still floating out there. And how pressing of an issue do you think this is now that Juju has now gotten hurt on top of it, and how important it is to bring in somebody for some outside help?
I mean, I'm happy Juju came here and helped us out, but I didn't expect him to play every game. I was surprised we even brought him back because when he left here, he was dealing with injuries and leg issues and leg muscles. Those are soft tissue injuries that can always linger on for a long period of time. So Juju having a hamstring injury after he ironically just had a 100-yard game is not shocking. Whatever juice he had, he used it in the New Orleans game. So I'm thankfully they're being cautious with it. I was surprised he suited up. I didn't think he was even going to be active because he said he was dealing with a hamstring issue all week. So I'm like, there's no need to do it. We need him long term. Like D-Mac said, he's very important to the group, even more so now with all the injuries we've had. So seeing him go down and sit out for a week is not shocking at all. And it goes back to what I just said. Thankfully, this schedule behind us is not as crazy as we thought it was going to be in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So definitely want to get Juju healthy and get him ready for the stretch run in December and January. But Deontay Johnson, we said it in the summer. We're saying it at the beginning of the season. We're saying it again now. It makes too much sense for both sides, for us and for Carolina. Obviously, Carolina's not winning anything anytime soon. We're in a win-now mentality. His salary makes sense. He fits our classic Z spot. He can run routes. He gets open. It makes sense. And the team's already scouted him, so the interest is already there. So it checks all the boxes for me. So hopefully we get that alert, that tweet. Veach loved to work late at night, so it'll probably be around this time. Veach, if you want to drop it now during the show, you know what I'm saying? That'd be dope too. Give us a reason to stay on live. But no, Deontay Johnson would easily help this receiving core. And little nuggets and little birdie, we've been hearing that Hollywood can come back sooner rather than later. That'll be a good thing for this receiving core as well. So if there's a world we live in where we get to November, DG, and Deontay Johnson is your Z, and we get Hollywood Brown back around week 15-ish, 14 if we're pushing it before the season ends, get a couple games underneath his belt, and you go into the playoffs with those guys, I think I'm happy with that receiving room for sure.
Yeah. Obviously, my main target, I agree with CJ, has always been Deontay Johnson. I think he fits what this scheme likes to do. The Chiefs are really adamant about adding guys who are versatile, can do multiple things, and I know that that's something that he's kind of been asked to do in his career. Um, I think it is of utmost importance for them to go and make a move. They gotta get somebody that can win their one-on-ones and when they get to the red zone area. Still, it's only so many times that you can run the ball to Kareem Hunt and for teams kind of start keying in on that, and then getting down there, and it's only so many times that Patrick Mahomes is gonna be able to truck a guy going into the end zone. So I think you gotta go find that guy that can beat press man and win his one-on-one matchup. And I think Deontay Johnson fits that bill. I know there's a lot of talk right now about the Cooper Cup thing. I would hate it, but I would hate it if the price was, the price of being a second round pick, and plus trying to take him on I guess you could say a new adjusted deal, because I would assume that's what they would want to do, is try to get his cap number down, especially if they I guess they plan to keep him if they were to go make that move. But to me,
He like Cooper Cup is a professional route runner. From a football
yeah,
standpoint, I would love him on the roster.
yeah,
That's never been my issue with him. It's age and contract. He's one of the top 15 highest paid receivers in the league, and rightfully so. He's earned it. He had the Triple Crown back in 2021, so he's played like one of the best receivers in football. So that's not shocking to me why they gave him the money. But he's played like less than 40% of the game since that season in 2021. So he's an amazing receiver. He's just not available for me enough, and he's over 30. And we know those are the two cardinal sins when you're talking to Brett Veach. So
I agree. When I heard the price of a second round pick, I was immediately out.
I know
if
that's
that,
the asking point. It's always underneath the surface.
and that's why I was saying I'm
yeah.
assuming that's the starting price, which is always the fake price.
And it was a second round. It was a second round pick for Devontae Adams, which they got a conditional, but still, but they ate all the money for it. It was a second round pick for Amari Cooper as well. So it's one of those things where you expect that price range to go down, but still 30 plus with his injury history. And it's not just an injury history. It's you've missed significant time in the last 3 seasons and you're on the wrong side of 30 injury history.
Yes.
Even as good as Cooper Kupp is while healthy, I understand why there's a lot of trepidation there and trying to fit in the thread the needle, as I said earlier, of, hey, we've got the Rams with good compensation that they feel okay with, and they also eat the money for this specific year. And the Chiefs are comfortable trading whatever the draft pick is. Like, that feels like that's going to be very difficult to work out. They would probably say, we'll do it for a fifth if you eat the money. I don't think that you're going to be able to get the Rams to end up doing that. I think they'll probably just eat them and cut them. That's the reality of the situation. Now, look, maybe it changes.
That's what they should do. Realistically.
Yeah. But it'll be fascinating to see what happens, because this is the trade deadline is on election day. So we are 2 weeks out from Brett Veach, being on the clock of being able to make a move from a wide receiver perspective that can help this stretch run. To you guys' point, I think what you're looking at, honestly, they do kind of need extra bodies. I'm not gonna lie to you, like it is bad right now.
Yeah, that room is dead. You're two. This week. I think you can probably survive.
You make it by, right? You make it by with what it is at this point, but it's
you're
tight.
way too thin.
It is very difficult. Like, and we talked about the DeMarcus Robinsons of the world, obviously Darius Slayton, who would be splitting the difference between Deontay Johnson. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're not above doing both. Like, if you can get DeMarcus Robinson for a sixth, go do that. I'd rather you do that than Cooper Kupp for a day 2 pick. Personally, go get DeMarcus Robinson, go get Deontay Johnson. You need multiple guys at this point. And don't worry about what it'll look like if Hollywood Brown comes back, which, again, praying that he does come back by the end of the season. That's not something to necessarily be concerned about right now. You still need those multiple bodies, in my personal opinion. So
absolutely.
Brett Veach, you got some work ahead of you.
That phone is buzzing right now.
I was gonna ask y'all another guy I was kind of low key interested in. I don't know if he'll be available, but what do y'all think about a guy like Michael Wilson from the Cardinals
from Arizona?
I like him a lot, but they won't trade him.
He's young.
He's a young asset for him.
Yeah, he just played well last night.
He's a young asset for him. They don't have any reason to move off of him.
Exactly.
It's kind of difficult to find, the well you want to get into. The Patriots roster is kind of interesting from that standpoint. Obviously, we saw DeMario Douglas have a solid game, his first game out with Drake May, and then not necessarily do great, last game. Are they really okay with that? In my personal opinion, a guy that I liked in the offseason, and he's only on a 1-year deal. If they want to trade KJ Osborne, I'd still be happy to bring him in for a conditional 6-7 swap, whatever. Cool with me. That could be another guy that, even if it's not DeMarcus Robinson, you want to bring in the extra body, that's a guy I would target personally. So it's those kind of names that you would have to do secondarily, but I still think you need an impact wide receiver that can beat man coverage on a consistent basis, ultimately speaking. Right now, as far as realistic options, that guy exists in Carolina, and he's begging somebody to come get him, to be honest with you.
Have you seen his post game press conference? Like,
he is life. He come get me.
Like, he's depressed. You can see it. Like, bro, just get me out of here, dog. Like,
his eyes is heavy. He like, what you say? What was the question? He like, what
you
say?
So,
bro, he's
that's
out of there, bro.
That's my probably ideal scenario is go get a guy like Deontay Johnson, then go get a lesser guy like DeMarcus Robinson, KJ Osborne. because you just need bodies in the room. And as far as the immediacy is concerned, obviously we know the whole Sky Moore thing. I'm done with it. I can't do it anymore. Can't do it. You got to catch the ball. If you don't catch the ball, can't believe in you anymore. That's the reality situation.
Yeah.
Question I got for you guys really, really quickly. Of all the wide receivers that we have on the practice squad, who do you want to see get a shot?
Nico Remigio. If there's anybody. If we're
DJ.
bringing up anybody, give somebody a shot. Nico Remigio for me. Tough. Can play in the slot. Can play outside if need be. Shifty. He runs good routes. Obviously, just his biggest thing was just knowing the playbook. But as far as getting open, he did that at a very high level, even though it was only preseason and going against backups. But as far as getting open, which is the biggest thing for this receiving core, and when usually when Andy Reid likes, Nico Remigio is the guy for me. If we're going to call somebody up, it's him.
DJ.
None of them.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I don't like Nico. I'm sorry. I
have to pick somebody, Nico, but overall, I don't think none of them get called up. We're in week 7 now, so. But
to me, I really do like Nico. I like him a lot. But based on what I saw in the preseason, which is, again, that's kind of what I have to go off of. I thought Montrell Washington outplayed Nico. I thought he was a better wide receiver, in my personal opinion, and he's better at camp from what we saw up there at St. Joe's as well. And in my opinion, I thought Cornell Powell also better in camp and preseason as well.
He played very, very well.
So to me, I think I would say Cornell Powell first shot. But I understand if you kind of want the return value
It's
of
the
what
speed
Washington
factor.
brings to the table,
Yeah.
then I understand why you would lean Washington. But for me, wide receiver, pure ability to actually help Powell would be the guy that would get first shot. But we'll see if anything changes this week. Going into Vegas, which, funny enough, everything that's happened in the Chiefs season to this point because of the injuries and the uneven play from Patrick Mahomes, et cetera, and how amazing the Chiefs defense has played, the run game has played, and for how bad the Raiders are, because they are very, very bad, as expected, to be perfectly honest with you. It's been lost of how we got to the point of handling business going to Vegas this year. And so, obviously, there was a lot of talk coming out of the Christmas game that the Raiders were able to come into Arrowhead and give the Chiefs their last loss, because they have not lost a game since then, and talked a lot of smack afterwards. Lit some cigars in the locker room for sure, and had a lot of fun, jovial times there on Christmas, and has not looked the same since then. The Raiders, of course, then brought out a Kermit the Frog epitaph during training camp, making fun of Patrick Mahomes as well. As such, the Chiefs will be heading to Vegas, maybe with a little extra juice this week. So, this is a matchup in which the Chiefs should be able to run the ball on a consistent basis and handle business. What are you guys watching for as far as the Chiefs offense versus the Raiders defense, man?
You would think. Go ahead, DJ.
No, you go ahead. Go.
You would think this will be a week where we would just go in, run the football, get out of there, and get a win, like a 23-10 type situation. This is not one of those weeks. I fully expect Petty, Andy Reid to come out. I fully expect Petty Mahomes to be out. The counting fingers, trick plays, taking deep shots, reverses. I expect it all this week. And coming into the game, normally you would think, why are you doing this for a team that has no Devontae Adams, who's traded? Christian Wilkins is on IR. They've been going back and forth between Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. They don't know what they're doing there. This is the Raiders. We hate them. They hate us. They talk trash. We talk trash back. We win a Super Bowl in their stadium. There's a flag built underneath that stadium with our name on it. They do not like us. I fully expect this offense to do some diabolical things as far as creativity on offense and getting guys taking shots down the field. Xavier Worthy, prop, DG, this is the week. DG, you going to cash that prop this week, son. I know we've been missing it for the last 2 weeks. And I apologize to our fans that's been tailing us. We're going to get it this week, guys. I promise you. This is the week.
I promise you we try, because I hit the Noah Gray the year the week prior, and then I was like, no, I feel good. Xavier Worthy this week. And I was like, he just overthrew him.
It's coming. It's going to be this week. We get it done. I promise. But no, from an offensive standpoint, we just have to obviously hit those deep shots like D-Mac just stated to Xavier. He's open. The plays are there. We have to be on time and on target, continue to run the football, and obviously get our tight ends involved. And obviously we're being efficiently moving the football, and that's what I love to see from the offense. That's why I'm not really as frustrated, because we're moving the ball well. It's just turnovers and finishing drives, which we did well last week. We fixed that issue. Now we have to get this turnover bug fully out of our system, and I believe this is the week we do so for sure.
Yeah. Let me take you back to 2020 COVID year. The Las Vegas Raiders come in to play the Chiefs in Arrowhead and finally get a win with Derek Carr. And they proceed to take a little victory lap around the stadium and let people know about it too.
in their buses.
In their buses, take a little trip around the stadium. Go ahead, do it. I think the Chiefs outscored them the next two games 84 to 30 something or
Something
something like
disgusting.
that.
It was
I-
84 to 14.
Not not not
Disgusting.
not only did the Raiders do that, then they proceeded to come back to Arrowhead and have a little meeting in the middle of the field.
With no
And I
shirts on.
think we drummed them that day 48-9 or something like
Yep.
that. Yeah, the antics after the Christmas game, the cigars in the locker room, the Kermit the Frog videos and things of that nature. I want to say I hope. I'm gonna say I hope because you never know with these games. Belt to fucking ass this
This is the
week.
week. This is the
This
week.
is this is the week that I truly expect Andy Reid, and Matt Nagy, and Patrick Mahomes to be on some real petty shit.
Facts.
You know, and I don't think if they get to a point where they got a chance to run the score up, I
They
think they'll
gonna do
do
it
it. Um, yeah, the Raiders, the Raiders are not good. You
at
should
all.
you should definitely. I think outside of Max Crosby, um, it's pretty much the only guy on that defense that you would even remotely be worried about at this point. I know a lot of people may want to talk about Jack Jones. I don't even know if Jack Jones is going to finish the game at this point. We've seen the kind of antics from him and things of that nature. So I just think the Raiders right now are kind of in a dark place. I think they expected to be a little bit better than they thought they were going to be, especially after kind of the run that they went on late in the year. And, all due respect, late in the year, they found themselves, and they came into Arrowhead, with a lot of passion and a lot of physicality, and they beat us. It just is what it is. But uh, I fully expect our offense, even as down receivers are as we are at this point, to come out and be firing on all cylinders. I know when Pat said it'll get handled when it gets handled, ear to the streets.
The time is now.
Yeah, so hopefully we get full out. And I'm gonna say it is, when we get Petty Mahomes, we get Levon Mahomes shows up to the game, and if he shows up, it's gonna be a long day for that Raiders defense. But yeah, just continue to keep doing what you're doing. Run the football. Give Kareem Hunt his touches, and then when you guys chances in times to take your shots down the field, I believe what CJ said this week we're gonna hit on that prop for Xavier's longest reception. I get to see the Raiders blowing the coverage and allowing him to get behind them, and yeah, torching them for a long one. So Pat loves playing in the stadium. They haven't lost there since it's been built. So hopefully we can continue to keep that rolling. But I think this offense is definitely gonna be on some petty time this week.
Look, a get right game would be very, very nice to see. Say that to say the least, man. And look, just from an X and O standpoint, the the Chiefs' offense obviously has done a very good job at being efficient. Still had the negative plays, and that's really been the biggest issue. The Raiders defense has been below average pretty much across the board, except for one specific category. They haven't been able to stop the rush particularly well. They're bottom 10 as far as EPA per rush, and also the same way as far as success rate. Drop back, they've been a little bit better, near middle of the pack, but still below average as well. And a lot of that is also concerned as far as their field position that they're not starting well, which we'll get into the offense that has been even worse to this point. But there's one aspect in which they have been pretty good, and that is allowing third and fourth down conversions. They've been top three as far as that is concerned. We've been top three as far as converting those opportunities. So, how many of those third and fourth downs are in good positions for us is going to be a key factor for us to continue moving the ball well. And if we want to punch things in, you're going to have to be good on third and fourth down. That's a reality situation. You put up 4 touchdowns because you were good on third and fourth down within the red zone in the condensed area. Have to have a repeat type of performance if we're going to end up blowing this team out. So, flipping the side of the ball to the Chiefs defense as far as the Raiders offense, team traded away Devontae Adams. They lost Josh Jacobs in the offseason. Offensive line is struggling mightily across the board. Obviously, Aiden O'Connell just broke his thumb, so they're back to starting Gardner Minshew, who they benched a few weeks ago for Aiden O'Connell. Jacoby Myers is in that lineup. This Chiefs defense has been excellent. I'm not sure if I have anything other than say that you should go out there and dominate them, and that's really the reality situation. But I will say, another matchup versus a really good tight end. Thought they did a really good job versus George Kittle. Got to repeat that performance versus Brock Bowers because he is the guy that so far to this point has been the only thing functioning as far as the Raiders offense is concerned. He's got to be a point of emphasis in this matchup. What do you guys have to say as far as this side of the ball?
Yeah, they don't really have. I mean, for it, even with Devontae Adams, I don't think I was really afraid of their receiving core to that extent. Yeah, I just think they don't have. It's no disrespect to them. They just don't have the guys that I feel like you should be really that afraid of. Right. I of course, I always like Jacoby Myers and his game, and would love to have him on this team if we could had a shot to get him. But with him being in and out of the lineup these last couple weeks, I don't think there's a lot of continuity there for that offense. Them losing Aiden O'Connell, I think, is a lot bigger deal than them, having to insert Gardner Minshew, who they benched, obviously, and didn't want in there in the first place. So, yeah, I just think it's all out of sorts for them, for real. It could tend to be something that you would call a trap game, but I think at the same time, this defense, the way we've been playing the last couple of weeks, this should not be a tough matchup for you. Stop the run like you've been doing. Don't go out there lackadaisical. Don't go out there thinking, we don't really have to show up and do our jobs today and just take the day off or anything like that. Keep playing the same way you've been playing. Go out there and make a bad team look bad. And that's I think it's just that simple. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Brock Bowers has been, pretty good up until this point. But I think that if he's the only guy that they're solely relying upon, I think you should have your game plan centered around him, isolate him, take him away, and make somebody else in that receiving core beat you. I think this is a good challenge and step up for kind of game for guys like Najee Johnson and Josh Williams to get some reps and see what they really can do and build some confidence up, So hopefully that happens as well too. So not a lot of technical things I could say at this point about going out there and stopping them. I think it's pretty simple. I think Spags will keep it pretty simple. Probably blitz the hell out of Gardner Minshew and passing downs and try to make him beat you.
Absolutely. DD said it all, man. From a defensive standpoint, make a bad team look bad. They're not really explosive on offense at all outside of Trey Tucker and Brock Bowers. They really don't have many defining players who can go out there and probably change the game. So they don't really run the ball very well. Aiden O'Connell is very interception prone right now. I fully expect some guys to get some picks off him this week as well. So I would love to see that trend continue of multiple turnovers for this defense. Go out there and dominate every phase of the game. Up front, get turnovers, tackles for loss, keep them off the field on third down, get turnovers, get the ball back to our offense. This is going to be a fun week as far as from a prop standpoint. First half spread. I just found this bomb for the first half that I'm going to give you all at the end of the show that I love. All I love from our defensive standpoint, what we've done all year, stopping the run first and foremost. and we've done a great job getting turnovers. I fully expect that to continue this week. You go out there and dominate this team on either side of the ball. Run the football, be very explosive on offense, figure out a way to get Xavier Worthy back in the end zone like we love to see. But yeah, this should be a fun week for Spags and Andy to go out there and establish their dominance and continue this trend. And like I said, we have a very nice schedule in the next 3-4 weeks. We don't see too many great defenses. So it's a good opportunity for us to get on the right track offensively and continue our dominance on the defensive side of the ball for sure.
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna say this: pretty much everybody outside of Colton Miller has been taken advantage of on a consistent basis. So again, continuing to use that Chris Jones advantage and then getting those one-on-ones, because look, their run game isn't good. I don't expect all of a sudden that Alexander Madison is going to be the dude that breaks the Chiefs' run defense all of a sudden. So again, being able to take advantage of those one-on-ones, continue to pressure Gardner Minshew into bad throws, being able to understand what the matchup is going to be versus Brock Bowers and give him the requisite attention that he has demanded, honestly, in his rookie year, because he has played very well to start out his career. If you do those things, you'll get out of here allowing less than probably 14 points, honestly. So that being considered, let's go ahead and give really quick score predictions and X factor so that we can get to the power rankings and then wrap it up with our best bets as well. So I'll start it off. I think that, again, team goes out and handles business. It's not like we're going to beat them like 48-9 like we did in 2021, though I'd love to see that. I would love to see it. Let me tell you how much I'd love to see it. But I do think that it'll be somewhere in the, Chiefs 31-13 type of range, in my opinion. And the X factor for me is going to be simply Xavier Worthy. And I know we did it multiple times before. The secondary can be had. If this team is going to be, putting up 30 plus points, that means that boy X has to have a good game because nobody else at this point. So that's the one I'm going to point to. There was emphasis on getting Mecole Hardman involved and playing well versus San Francisco. I think you'll see a certain game plan to be used, Xavier Worthy, to take advantage of the Las Vegas Raiders as well. And hopefully that game plan is coming through, because, look, this is a situation in which you have to get after this Raiders secondary. You have to get after this entire Raiders team. You can't allow them to hang around and make this a game in the third quarter. There's no reason it should be. It can't happen. It should not be a game going into the fourth quarter. Kind of like how that Chargers game was, a game, or the Saints game kind of was in the fourth quarter. That shouldn't happen here. They play a lot of single high coverages. They like to come after you as well because they don't really have a lot of really good options as far as, the secondary is concerned. You got to be able to take advantage of it. And I think Xavier Worthy's got to be the guy to do it. So let me hear your X factors and game prediction.
Game prediction, I'll say Chiefs 27, Raiders 14. And that's props to them. I'm giving them right now because I would like to say Chiefs 50 and Raiders 0. But no. Yeah. X factor, I think, again, for the second week in a row, is probably gonna be Noah Gray. I think he's establishing a role in this offense, a heavier role in this offense. I think that Andy and them need to kind of keep dialing him up. I think it's helping extend the life and window of Travis Kelce with, taking some pressure off of him to be that guy, especially in the middle of the field. Obviously, you're going to be down Juju Smith-Schuster at this point in time, so Xavier Worthy should be somebody else that I really feel like that, the game plan should be centered around at this point in time. Like you said, D-Mac, I think that you can kind of go out here and stretch the field, take some shots early on and see. I kind of feel like we do that coming out of halftime, and we've kind of done that the last couple of weeks coming out of halftime. I would like to see that early on, and probably in the game. Just take some shots down the field and just test their secondary a little bit. And, see if we can draw some flags or something like that. See where their heads at are as far as how they're going to play that. Give them something to think about. But yeah, run the ball. Another game I feel like Kareem should have, close to 20-something carries and impose your will, man. Get out of there with a win. Get out of there healthy.
Yeah. CJ?
I know it's been ugly for the offense, fellas. I know it hasn't been pretty. We'd love to see us not have all the turnovers and play cleaner football. I think this is the week. I'm gonna go Chiefs 35. I'm not being bullish. I don't think the Raiders get in the end zone, bro. I really don't. Unless, like, given the fact we don't turn the ball over and give them a short field, because then that doesn't count. But as long as we don't turn the ball over,
Fucking
have
goose
0
egg.
interceptions, I'm going Chiefs 35,
Bums.
Raiders 9. Like
Yep.
either 3 field
Yep.
goals or maybe 4. But I really don't see them getting in the end zone. I'm dead serious. I really don't see how they move the ball in this defense.
Yeah,
This is
Gardner
the best
Minshew,
defense
you're
in
a bum.
football. You're a bum. We're indoors, obviously. They don't have any weapons that explode that scare you on offense. I don't know who's going to finish the game, Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. I'm scared.
Well,
They kind of
Aiden ain't finishing the game because he won't be there.
Hey, you never know. They may say, Gardner, get out of here. I don't know what's going to happen. Whoever's starting the game, take him for an interception.
We might see Desmond Ritter.
Hey, Desmond, you can come in there too.
That'd be even better.
You go ahead, big fella. Do your thing. But overall, I don't expect this offense really to move the ball on us at all. We have the best defense in football. Tell all your fellow Ravens fans they heard that here first. Naturally, I think we cover the first half. I think we go out there and dominate. And I think the X factor for me, given that, I think is going to be obviously, I'm going to go Justin Watson. I think usually when we play in here, he gets 1 or 2 targets down the field. I think one of those 1 or 2 targets may be in the end zone for a deep shot. I think we started off the game 2 years ago, the Ring Around the Rosie game. We started off the game with a deep shot to him down the sideline. So I think this is the week where you get Justin Watson back for a deep shot. He's one of my favorite props, longest reception as well. So those are my X factors for sure. Chiefs 35, Raiders 9. I think we go out there and dominate and get back on track for sure.
Okay. Not mad at all. Look, I wanted to say 31-12, but I don't think that they get 4 scoring drives.
Yeah, that's not 3 is the max for me. Yeah, 3 is the cap. Yeah.
So,
I was being generous with my 14.
He really was, because I don't think y'all not scoring, bro. They really not scoring on this.
But yeah, so that's obviously how much we think of the Las Vegas Raiders as well. But moving on to a league-wide view, looking at our Week 7 power rankings, nothing to apologize here because we did the smart thing and did not put the Cowboys on there, and that's really, honestly, that's a win for everybody at this point. I don't care what justification you want to have. There's only one undefeated team in the National Football League. You can hate if it don't look great. You could not like it if you think that it's the ref's fault. I don't care. The Chiefs are the number 1 team in the power rankings.
Give a damn.
I really don't. Number 2, Ravens or Lions? Quickly, hit me with it. What you guys want to roll with?
Lions.
DG?
Easy for me. Lions.
The petty in me wants to say the Ravens, but I'll go with the group. The Lions.
Okay. Lions number 2, Ravens number 3. 4, I don't know if we want to drop the Vikings.
The best team in the league. They're the best.
I knew he wasn't going to let it go without
They're
saying
the best. They're the best team in the league. They got the MVP, two co-MVPs. Co-MVPs on their team. They lead the league in rushing. They're the best. Lamar Jackson is playing perfect.
Boy.
You gotta. Sometimes you just Chiefs Kingdom. You gotta learn just to bow down to the best, man. They're the best. What can I say? You seen it on TV. You see it on Twitter. How else can you slice it?
Packers, Texans, Eagles, Bills. Who do you guys want to put here? For
Packers. Packers. Definitely.
They beat the Texans. They're very handily.
They did.
Yeah. Which I say was a very intriguing game because Ziggs versus Jair.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
They hate each other with a passion.
Right.
Boy.
Listen, if there's a shot that we're not in the Super Bowl, I would love for that to be the Super Bowl match. Texans versus Packers would be.
Those are 2 of the pettiest dudes in the league, bro. They funny as hell, bro.
Right.
That boy Diggs said, I'm never gonna be the bigger person.
Yep.
I respect that energy.
Hey, you know Jair ain't you already know how Jair feels.
You gonna be like, and
I ain't the bigger person either.
Me
gonna be the big person.
2 of the
you go low, I'm gonna go lower.
Right.
Who's rounding out the top 5? Bills, Texans, Eagles.
I would say
Bills
Texans,
won.
Bills.
Vikings. If you guys don't want to
Vikings.
go.
It's tough game. Yeah,
It's
I think
tough,
either Vikings or Bills. Either one for me. Yeah, Vikings or Bills. I'm cool either way.
I think
I'll let y'all call it.
I'll lean Vikings.
Yeah, I'll probably leave Vikings too, just because of what.
Yeah,
Who the
they
Bills
lost.
beat?
They lost by a game
That
winning
was
field
good.
goal.
It wasn't competitive, right? Who the Bills beat?
The Titans.
The Titans. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's
yeah. I'm going
easy,
Vikings.
Yeah.
You lost at home, very close game to a really good team as far as the Lions are concerned. So I'm not dropping you
Field
that
goal,
far.
yeah.
I'll go Bills. At 6, 7. Texans, Eagles. Eagles destroy the Giants.
Texans.
Texans.
Mhm.
I feel good about the Eagles at 8. Well, Eagles, Commanders.
Commanders.
Commanders over the Eagles.
I go Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders blew out a bad team, so
Okay.
gotta give them credit for that.
Commanders, Eagles, 8, 9, and number 10. I'm going to throw out a few names. Obviously, we had the Bears there, but all coming off the bye week. Buccaneers got beat by the Ravens, and now they're down wide receivers, which is going to be tough there. The other team, I'll say, Russell Wilson, man.
The defense, the Steelers defense does look good.
Turn it around. He got it going.
Russ had a couple moon ball shots, DG. I ain't gonna lie. He had a couple moon balls.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
George Pickens was out there. Playing hot potato with some of them
but he caught it though.
Look, I'm also gonna say the other team, Seahawks, absolutely destroyed the Falcons.
I would say them. Yeah.
You want the Seahawks over the Steelers?
I'm gonna go with the majority. Either way is cool with me.
Well, that doesn't work. There's 3 of us, CJ.
Well, I said Steelers. That's what I said. Then you pick.
You know what? The Seahawks pissed me off so badly the 2 weeks previously. I'm gonna go with the Steelers, and I need them to prove it to me. Okay,
Seahawks pissed me off so much.
Show some consistency, and you will earn your way back into my good gracious. Because I'm sick and tired of y'all. And guess what? If y'all beat Josh Allen, then y'all good. I will put y'all. I will happily put y'all.
Moving up for sure.
I will happily put y'all on here. But the Steelers for right now. I will give them the number 10 spot. Who do you want to give the gold star to? You want to give the Lions? Well, we gave it to them last week. Let's choose somebody else. We can go the Ravens. It was a distraction.
Yeah, Ravens.
Packers.
Ravens.
I said Packers for me. They dominated the Texans. I know the score didn't show it, but it was never really close. Joe Mixon did score, but like CJ
you kind of say that about the Ravens.
Yeah. But the Bucs secondary is awful. They're supposed to do that. Yeah, I thought the Packers-Texans game was a very competitive game, back and forth. But when I watched it, it really didn't feel that way. I feel like the Packers were always in control. So,
can I also say something?
Yes.
How do you lose 40-7 to Marcus Mariota?
That is disgusting.
Well,
he came off the bench too, cold.
For one, you start Andy Dalton.
Okay.
Ass. 2. You have receivers like Deontay Johnson, who you only throw the ball to once in that game. I think he had one catch.
No wonder he was mad. I've been running.
3, your offensive line is just absolutely dog shit. Because you probably led a Commanders team without Jonathan Allen, who's one of their best interior guys, probably dominate you up front. And 4, you let Brian Johnson come back, off of injury and probably pretty much do whatever he wanted to do. So at that point, it's a cooked product in Panther land. They should probably just pack it up for the year. Yeah, and send us Deontay Johnson. Yeah, you got life.
They gave you life.
They gave you life. Sayonara.
The good news is you get to get your ass kicked for another couple games. The bad news is you stink.
Sayonara.
Yeah, your season's over. You can clearly tell.
They brought Bryce Young in to throw for -4 yards.
It's just done, bro. Like
get in there, Bryce.
They are the biggest joke in all of sports.
Get in there, Bryce.
Just start. Look, it doesn't matter who you start. Just start Bryce, bro. Let
If
him
you're
get the
gonna
reps.
lose with him. If you're gonna
Yeah,
lose.
like Andy Dalton's not doing nothing for you. He's not saving your season. He's not a better quarterback at this point. I just roll with Bryce. Let him get the reps at this point in time, and just continue to get him blown out so that you can secure a high draft pick and maybe get Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter season, baby.
Progression there. But yeah, so this, Jesus Christ, the Panthers. So last thing to do, just a quick wrap up on what was obviously our Tell the Truth trifecta. Again, another good week. 2 out of 3. Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown, immediately cashed, and could take it for 2 if you wanted to. Noah Gray, over 15.5 receiving yards, immediately cashed. Could take it for more if you wanted to. Xavier Worthy, over 19.5 cash. Xavier Worthy, over 19.5. Should have cashed if Patrick Mahomes left it just a tiny bit shorter.
We gonna hit
that
it. We gonna hit it.
It's gonna come. It's gonna be difficult, but it's gonna pause. At some point, the connection is going to happen, and it'll happen. Jesus Christ, that's annoying. We will be coming out again every single game day with our best bets, our Tell the Truth trifecta. We will let you guys know when that drops on game day as well. Make sure you guys pay attention. Look, there's some good money to be made out there. And again, make sure you do join the Bet the House Sportsbook as well over there. So, anything else before we go ahead and get on out of here, fellas, man?
Nah, man, another week, hate week.
It's Raider week, man. We know what time it is.
Yep,
Nothing
absolutely.
needs to be said.
There's no other team I despise more than them, man.
Love lost, bro.
I hate the Bengals. I don't really like the Ravens. Not a fan of the Bills. The Raiders I don't give a damn what their record is.
Yeah, I don't care how bad they are. I want to beat it every
beat
time.
the snot
time, bro.
piss out of
every
them,
time, bro. Beat the piss out of them. You hear me?
Right.
We got to get him back for Christmas. And it's really a beautiful thing that the Raiders are so god awful. It's just awesome. I think it's amazing. It makes a smile come to my face. And remember, if you thought the Raiders were the most improved team in the entire NFL and we're going to win the AFC West before the season, you are a grade A dumbass. God bless you. And I hope you get some help. So, with that being said, go ahead and get on out of here, man. Go Chiefs. Peace out.
Jeez.